Over the past 18 months, I've owned 3 pairs of this Vivobarefoot Primus Lite Knit and have worn them for just about everything. Lifting at the gym, HIIT sessions, casual activewear, running on the treadmill, walking around town, light hiking, and even for casual use. In this video, we'll be doing a deep dive review into the shoe features, its performance, alternatives, and determine if it's a shoe that can truly do it all or is a master of none. And welcome back to my channel, Wide Strides. I review wide toe box and barefoot shoes here on YouTube. Now today we will be reviewing the Vivobarefoot Primus Lite Knit. Have you ever wanted one shoe to fit a variety of needs? Maybe you are transitioning to barefoot shoes and are looking for your first barefoot shoe, but don't want to convert your entire shoe collection over to barefoot shoes. Or maybe you need a single travel shoe that can do a variety of needs while you are traveling. That's where the Vivobarefoot Primus Lite Knit comes in. Now on Vivobarefoot's website, this is marketed as a lifestyle and training barefoot shoe. So I think it can handle a variety of use cases. Vivobarefoot Primus Lite Knit sits in between its two brothers. The first being the original Primus Lite, which was one of Vivobarefoot's best-selling shoes. I had the first version of this, and this was actually my first ever barefoot shoe, and is more of a performance trainer. On the other side of this, you have the Primus Asana, which is more of a daily casual sneaker. Now the Vivobarefoot Primus Lite Knit fits right in the middle, designed to handle a variety of use cases. You will soon see that I have grown to love this shoe. I now have 3 pairs of the shoe, one being in this awesome white and maroon colorway and an obsidian black, and then they've run a special colorway, this other black colorway, which I really like as well. Just before we jump into the review, there will be a few shoes that I mention during this review, all of which are linked in the description below, so check those out if you are interested. So let's have a look at a few features of this shoe before we see how it has performed on foot. Starting off with the upper. So the upper is a booty style construction, or sock-like construction. Isn't a whole lot going on. It is very minimal. It has this blend knit upper, which I do quite like. It's very breathable and stretchy. The knit blend is made of this recycled polyester and elastane. It feels quite thick and can be a little bit harsh at times, but in terms of saying that, I've had this for 18 months and it hasn't overly stretched or softened up, so that is a good nod to the quality there. The other material on this upper is this TPU, which you can see is this shinier white part that runs down from the toe box, connects the eyelets, and then also runs around to the heel collar. On the heel collar, there is a small amount of padding. I think it's just perfect. It provides a little touch of comfort there, but keeping the shoe overall very minimal and also very flexible. As you'll see, this shoe can turn a lot, meaning that it doesn't inhibit your foot's movement at all. In terms of the laces, they're very stretchy and elastic, kind of what you would expect for this upper, where it's also very stretchy. So I think they've done a good job here. Lastly, on the back, we have this little heel tab, which makes it easy to put the shoe around your ankle. You can easily slip this on without having to do the laces, thanks to the extra elasticity around the heel collar. Just a quick note on the flexibility of this shoe. Over the forefoot and the midfoot, it's very flexible. At the back, around the heel collar, there is a bit more structure, which I do like, and it does make it easier to get the shoe on. Also, around the eyelets, the TPU adds a slightly more structure. While this is a minimal shoe and there isn't a whole lot going on the upper, I would say it isn't the lightest out of Vivobarefoot's shoes. For instance, you have the original Primus Lite, is definitely a lot lighter. The Primus Flow, for instance, is significantly lighter in the same family. Okay, moving on to the insole. So we have a cork-based insole for this shoe. It is very similar to what Vivobarefoot have done on a lot of their other Primus range. Nothing new going on here. Even shoes such as the RA and the Gobi do have similar insoles. So this one is very common and familiar if you are used to it. You can definitely wear this shoe without any socks in. The floor of this shoe actually looks pretty nice to put your foot in when the sole is out. Moving on to the outsole. So this is a 4mm outsole from Vivobarefoot. It is very typical from what you see in the Primus range. For instance, the Primus Lite has the same outsole, and also the Primus Asana. So very familiar there. Because it's the same outsole, you do get very good flexibility. That is a trademark across the Vivobarefoot shoes, and especially in this range. Let's move on to the fit and sizing of this shoe. It definitely does run large. I do have this in an EU 46 and this in an EU 47. Usually a 47 would work well for me. This is way too big. And when you do put your foot in, there's a lot of loose material. It isn't fit snugly. That can rub across the top of your foot. On the Primus Asana, I get a 47 and it fits like a glove. It feels incredibly comfortable. However, that's not the case here. The other point to note is around the width. On the Primus Lite Knit, they are definitely a lot wider than the Primus Asana. Not necessarily a bad thing, but a thing to pay attention to. If you're looking for extra width, I would definitely keep true to size. If you're just looking for a barefoot shoe, I'd definitely size down. Or if you are in between sizes, size down, because Vivobarefoot don't do half sizes here. We'll move on to the comfort of the shoe. Now, the fact that this has a really wide toe box does add to the comfort and does give your toes plenty of room to splay, which is really nice. Unfortunately, I wouldn't say this is the most comfortable shoe from Vivobarefoot. The upper can be a little rough as it is slightly thicker, so that can dig in around your ankle sometimes. And if it doesn't fit perfectly, it can dig into your forefoot when you are moving through the shoe. The material digs down onto the top of your foot. A note here on wearing socks. So I know a lot of people don't like to wear socks with barefoot shoes. However, I would tread lightly and with caution on this one. If it does fit well, I would go ahead and not use socks. That's fine. However, on the EU 47, I did do that once, and on a single walk, it did really blister just below the top of my big toe where the shoe does bend, and that even got infected and was really painful after. And I think that's just because of the thicker, slightly harsher material that you do have on the upper. So just a point to be careful about. Let's move on to the performance of this shoe. Now, this section is very important if we're talking about how versatile a shoe can be, and if it can fit a number of roles. It needs to be really good in a number of different categories. So within each category, I'll compare it to a more specialized shoe in that category. You'll soon start to see a common story here as I go through each different use case for the shoe. Now, Vivobarefoot market this as a training and lifestyle shoe. So as part of that, it needs to be able to perform in the gym. So first off, with lifting in the gym, doing any squats, deadlifts, anything where I need a stable base, it's been really good. I have used it often for the gym, up to 4 or 5 times a week. For over an 18-month span, and it's been perfectly fine for that. You do feel really stable and you get a lot of toe splay, which is really good. So you get a lot more stability that you would over a non-barefoot shoe. However, I would say compared to more specific barefoot shoes, such as the Motus Strength, which I don't have on me now, but I do own, that shoe is more designed specifically for lifting and those sort of movements, and I would say it's a lot better here. There is a much better lockdown and stability around the heel of the shoe, and you just feel a lot more stable. In addition to that, the width of that shoe is actually significantly wider, so you can even splay your toes even further if you do want to. So in summary, yes, it's good for the gym. I totally recommend it, but it is definitely not the best. Let's talk about more dynamic movement and higher intensity activities. This shoe does very well there. It locks down your foot very well to the sole. There is a little bit of movement because you do have that stretchy upper. Sometimes I have been using the bigger size for HIIT sessions or circuit sessions that I have been using it for. And because of that, there is a little bit of movement in the foot, forwards and backwards and side to side, even on the smaller side, EU 46. Because it's more flexible, there isn't as much structure and it's not holding your foot into place as well as some other shoes like the Primus Lite Knit. Saying that though, that's just my personal opinion. The guy who just won the men's mixed double finals was wearing a pair of these. I think his name is Sam Verbeek. So if he can win Wimbledon in it, it must be doing a good job there. Let's talk about running. So I have been using these shoes on the treadmill for running, anything from a nice easy run to a bit of speed work up to 5 to 7 kilometers. I only run with barefoot shoes on the treadmill. I don't run with barefoot shoes outside, so do note that. Even these shoes for those short distances have definitely been fine. The lockdown being okay. There hasn't been any heel slippage on the back. However, I wouldn't use it for anything longer, I think, just because I think it's not the most comfy shoe and you do have some of that upper material digging into your forefoot that I did discuss. Also, it isn't the lightest shoe. I do know there are better alternatives out there, such as the Primus Flow, which has been specifically designed for running. When you have this on foot, it just feels a lot nicer to run in. And I could definitely feel myself running a lot further with that. It has more eyelets for a better lockdown as well, so you're not going to get as much heel slippage over a longer run. The last use case that we're going to talk about is for walking and casual wear. Now, first up, I think this shoe looks great for that. This maroon and white colorway looks really good. Also, I dig this special edition colorway. I think they look great, and that is one of the main reasons I think you can use it in a variety of casual settings. So my main use cases with this shoe have mainly been running quick errands out of the house, and also used for dog walking and any casual family days out. And for casual wear, I must say it really does fit the bill, especially when you're going for that more athletic casual look. That hasn't been an issue at all. I do think you could even dress this up further if you wanted to, and it could go into that smart casual look if you wanted to get there. I haven't personally used it for that, but I do think when they're clean, they do look very good. Another benefit of this shoe, it does remain very clean. You wouldn't even notice. I've used this for 18 months. Even the other shoe, my other black shoe, which is even more worn because I've used this for more gym sessions, it still looks very good in terms of that upper. The durability has been very good there. However, I would say, again, there are better shoes out there. There's a lot more casual shoes that I think do a better job, that might be more comfortable for all day wear. For instance, the Primus Asana. Check out my review in the description below. I say there, I think it's one of the most comfortable barefoot shoes around. Can the Primus Asana do all the gym sessions, the running? And this definitely not. We'll finish this part on a quick point on the durability, and I think this is the one downfall of this shoe, and it is around the peeling of the outsole to the sole. You can see here there has been a fair bit of peeling, and it is a common problem. I've read a lot about this. It also happens on my Primus Asana, so I think it's more of a Vivobarefoot problem with this sole. You could probably glue it back with some shoe glue, no problems there, but when you're paying 170 USD, you don't want to do that. You should have top-notch durability. So come on, Vivo, do a better job here, please. Now let's move on to the pricing of the shoe. So at 170 USD, that is a lot of money. So I'd look at this in terms of two ways. If you're looking for a shoe for a specific use case that you're not going to be wearing too much, for instance, for the gym that you might be using once or twice a week, or if you're looking for a shoe that fits a variety of use cases that you're going to be using a lot more, I would think 170 USD is good value there. If you're only using it for one specific use case, like the gym, like barefoot running, then 170 can be steep. In addition to that, there can be some better alternatives out there. Even though there might be some better alternatives, if you are really looking for this shoe, I would say shop around. They're often on sale now on Vivobarefoot's resale website, revivo.com. These shoes are often priced at the 120 to 130 USD. So I think that's really good value there. So I definitely pick those up there if you can find them at that price. If you're looking for a shoe to fit a number of different use cases like the Vivobarefoot Primus Lite Knit, but you are looking for something cheaper, I would then consider a shoe from a smaller brand called the Lono Flow. Check out the description of this shoe in the links below. A few things to highlight. It has the same one-piece upper that's made of this knit. It is a lot more breathable and stretchy. I actually prefer the upper and the comfort on this compared to the Primus Lite Knit. It is priced at 100 USD, so significantly cheaper. I think it might be 110 USD now than the Primus Lite Knit as well. However, I definitely don't like the looks as much, so I don't wear this out as casually, and it does pick up dirt a lot more easily. You can see I have a big stain on the front here, but I think it fits the same use cases. You could wear it casually. You can definitely wear it to the gym, for hiking, for walking, for running. It fits all the same use cases, so it's a shoe to consider if you're looking for a cheaper option. So is the Vivobarefoot Primus Lite Knit the ultimate all-round shoe? So can this shoe do it all? I'd say absolutely yes. If I had to have one shoe, barefoot shoe at the moment, it would be this. I can use it the most across all the activities that I need it for, except maybe going into the office. That would definitely be the shoe, and I'd pick it over anything else. The only downside I would say is that harsher upper material, but that is nitpicking, and also definitely the price versus durability aspect that you get. If you do find this at a cheaper price point, 120, 130 USD, I think you're on the money with this shoe, and I totally recommend to go ahead and buy it. If you're looking for a more specific use case shoe, make sure you check out the link in the descriptions below for those shoes. I have a review on some of those now, and more are coming out, so make sure you're subscribed for those. Make sure you like the video if you did find this helpful, and let me know in the comments below what your all-round barefoot shoe is. But thank you for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.